smoke. Bomb smoke.
You can't see shit when you shoot them with those things.
No. Even when I shot mine, like there was smoke everywhere, and like I was like doing this to like get the smoke out of the way, and I put my gun back up and I saw her laying there, right where I shot her. But
no kidding. I've never shot a muzzleloader.
That shit works.
Yeah.
Just black out the first few.
I shot one this year with my grandson, and I shot her, and it was in Fair Hill. It could only go so many places, but I shot. I'm like, did you see her? He's like, when
Such a wild way to deer hunt. It's like you take a shot for the first 10 seconds, you don't see anything.
No, dude. You have to hope and pray you drop them, dude. Because if not, like, and
What direction did he go? No idea.
Yeah, or that they're by themselves. Because like he shot it at the one, and it was in a group of 4. He's like, I don't know, 2 deer went that way, 2 deer went that way. Like, I don't know. Like,
That's
all right, cool. Yeah, so that's a good experience. I mean, it's a fun hunt for me.
Yeah, get it back.
I was like, dude, I was hunting that bottom, and I sent you guys a snap. My butt and back were on fire, dude.
You need a stealth chair.
Whatever that, I'll take it. Whatever that is. I was like, but leaning up against this tree was not the move. I was like,
No cushion, no nothing.
Well, I had like a cushion like this, but by like hour 3, it was completely flat.
Just take a turkey vest.
Yeah.
That's what you need. Just flip that thing down.
Yeah, well, during the springtime, the ground's a little softer. I was sitting on frozen ground too, you know.
Rock.
Yeah.
I've gotten that stand that was on the other side of the creek.
I probably could have shot them.
Yeah, that's
Seeing where they came
that's
from.
where they came right by me that night. But
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it all worked out. At the butcher shop now.
Yeah.
But,
Congrats, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Congrats. Man. You've been grinding for a while now.
it takes so much pressure off me. Like they need meat. I got to go out one more time.
It feels good to put one in the freezer, man, especially when you're hungry. It's like, you know.
Yeah, well, I was really feeling the pressure from Whitney too, because I just like, all these times I keep going, and like the last couple hunts I hadn't seen anything. I was like, oh god, I might go the whole season without getting.
Does Waylon eat it?
Oh yeah, both the boys.
Can
do.
Cam eat it? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Nice.
He'll eat burger. I mean, he'll eat the steaks too.
Nice.
But Waylon really likes it,
That's awesome.
and like
That's awesome.
we went like the deer I killed last year are gone.
Yeah.
He killed one this year that he gave me some from, so we have a little bit of that, but it's not going to be enough,
Yeah, gotcha.
So
You need some perch.
need some perch.
Need some
Need
perch.
some perch. I got invited to a guy's farm next weekend for that 2-day gun, so hopefully I'll get a doe there too, and then I'll be
What's the dates on that? The 2-day gun?
9th, 10th,
Yeah.
11th,
Gotcha.
something like that.
Mm.
Something like that. It's usually when it is every year. But I mean, we'll get into that a little bit today too. But so for Mason and Dad, we've already been recording for 5 minutes now. so just telling stories.
Yeah.
But for everybody else, if you're new here, it's the Upper Bay Podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts here real soon. If you're new there, just hit the follow button, subscribe button, whatever you do. You'll get a notification when we post the episodes. All your support means the world to us, so we appreciate that. But tonight we got my dad in the house, we got Rich in the house, and we got Mason in the house. We got full stack, and we're gonna start 2026 with a bang.
Sweet.
we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into the sticks here. We're gonna get maybe a little controversy. We couldn't get Maryland deer biologist on, so we got the next best thing. It's my dad.
True.
Power plant worker. Yeah.
He works at a hard-time biologist, full-time power generation expert.
There may be some crossover there.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where this is coming from.
But so we're just gonna. I figured today we'll kind of go over a little bit of everything of rules and regulations that Maryland has that maybe we agree with, don't agree with, where we think the future of hunting in this state is going. Because from my perspective, and I think Mason's as well, and probably Dad's as well too, is like that it's a slippery slope of where it's headed, and I can see it very easily getting away from us and going downhill pretty quickly. But there's going to be a lot to cover in the deer hunting area but I also want to, hit on some fishing stuff too. And I know that this is also one of the reasons I wanted him on, because Dad's pretty in tune with the striper stuff. So we'll be able to help us out there. But I guess we'll start with bass fishing.
Okay.
You had said that being as avid as you are out on the flats and in the bay and all that with bass fishing, you had mentioned when we had started talking about this episode, a possible spawn closure. And so I guess we'll get into that a little bit and try to break that down.
Yeah. I mean, where I stand on this is that our fishery is a phenomenal fishery on the Upper Bay. Let's call it for what it is. 90% of the impactful big spawning flats occur in one area, and it's the 25 square mile grass flat that we're so lucky to have, which is the spill out of the Susquehanna River and just that lush ecosystem for fish to live, spend their lives, and also spawn. The uniqueness to the Chesapeake, though, the upper Chesapeake, as it pertains to the premier bass fishing that it can offer, is that it all happens in you say 25 square miles. Well, that's huge. It is. But the Chesapeake and the upper Chesapeake and the flats themselves have a tendency to fish small. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is there's certain places that fish spawn every year. There are certain places on the flat that fish tend to relate to year over year, and it shifts and varies a little bit, but they take a beating at certain times of the year. And the more I've thought about this, as I knew that we were going to be talking about this tonight, I've put some thought to, well, does it need to be the spawn? Does it need to be pre-spawn, or does it need to be post-spawn? And there's a lot there. There's a lot there to unpack, because some ways they're more vulnerable when they're on beds. They're more vulnerable when they're spawning, but other ways they're more vulnerable to, and what I'm referring to is after catch mortality rates, is when they go post spawn, because they're at their weakest point. The biggest females have laid their eggs. The biggest males have guarded fry for an extended period of time, that they're run down, man. So I don't know if it's something that needs to be happen during the spawn, a 2-week closure during the spawn, or if it should be, post spawn. But I'm of the opinion that I don't like seeing a lot of dead floating bass in the harbor, and seeing the size class that they are. So I feel like something should happen.
Well, do you think it should be, and I'm going to play devil's advocate a lot today. Yeah. So, I know what you're saying about the dead fish thing. Well, that just goes back to, tournament fishing. So is it maybe that a tournament closure rather than a fishery closure?
And I don't think I was clear enough when I was saying this. I don't think it should be a fishery closure. It should be, there needs to be some kind of an implement, or I would like to see, I don't want to say needs, because I'm not a biologist. I don't really know.
Right.
I would like to see some level of protection for the fish during one of their two most vulnerable times of year. Not close fishing. Just do what New Jersey does. There's a 4-week roughly period where you cannot live well your bass.
Yeah. Well, Conowingo does it too.
True.
So Pennsylvania does it. I'm sure some other states do. Maryland's wide open. And believe me, as a tournament fisherman, I'm kicking myself in the what by saying to close it down.
Right.
Because I want to fish tournaments. But at the same time, I do recognize, and I have seen patterns over the last few, 5 or so years, where they're definitely more vulnerable. And with data and research, you can pretty much pin it down to a couple of weeks. And I think it would just continue to keep the fishery as great as it is right now.
Right.
What if they just changed the format to, instead of live well, measure, picture,
Like a paper
release?
tournament.
Yeah, well, that would that's how tournaments would have to occur during the closed season where you're not allowed to live well. I mean, there's a lot of, you could absolutely do it that way.
But the death or the fish that are dying, you think, are not from being caught. They're from being hauled around in
they're from
the
being
live well.
they're from being hauled around, and so this is where we can really get into the weeds.
Right.
The whole nother show is fish care.
Right. I was just about to say probably fish care.
So, but yeah, man, like I don't know. I the common thinking for forever has been shut it down during the spawn, let them have their successful spawn, and that's fine. That's some good and well, but I don't. I wouldn't hate to see a late June, last week of June, first week of July closure when they're in that intermittent period between where they just get done garden fry, they're moving from the shallow stuff on their way to the out stuff, and they're schooling, so they're biting, and you can really put a wear on them in a hurry that time of year. But boy, they are weak. They,
Yeah, and I've thought about this prior to our conversation, and I wonder. So like there's a specific marina, and I'm sure you would know it if I said it. I'm not going to say it, but it gets hammered.
say it.
You want me to say it?
Say it.
All right. Well, Crystal Beach.
Yeah.
It gets hammered.
Yeah.
Absolutely hammered during the
Yeah.
spawn because for
Yeah.
whatever reason, those big fish get up in that little tiny marina.
Yeah.
And they're always there, and they reload. And every bass tournament, you can watch the line of boats go there in the morning.
Yeah.
They catch theirs. They come out. Another line of boats goes in. They catch theirs. So is it more so, should we look at certain areas for closure or off limits?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting thought there, or an interesting way to go about it. Makes it a little bit muddy as far as like, the enforcement side, and just kind of like knowing, I would like to see just from
across the board.
Yeah, from the gunpowder across to the sass and up.
Right.
Give them 10 days, give them 14 days during one of those two statistically proven windows where the mortality rate is way higher than any other time of year. And hell, that could, again, I'm not the biologist. I don't know all these things super diet. I just see what I see. That could be in late July. I don't know. But like, we got to protect them a little bit, because in the pre-spawn, they're tough. Mm-hmm. Like, you can catch those fish, you can live well them, put them back in, and that fish is going to bite on the first hard spot outside of the no wake zone the next day,
right?
Because they're in different time periods, and then in the fall when they're feeding back up and they're in that cycle of life where they're feeding, they're traveling, they can handle a lot more than that. It's just that one time, like it's like when a buck's been in rut for I don't know how long. A buck will chase those until they're not smelly anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's got to be a time period after that where a buck is like, all right, all I got to do is eat, lay down, chill, recover a little bit. Yeah. It's kind of that same analogy. And the protection is, we got to keep those big females. We can't have those big females expiring on us, because like they're big bucks grow big bucks, big bass grow big bass. Like it's all.
Yeah, and I mean, in the grand scheme of things, 2 weeks is nothing. That's a drop in the hat.
Nope.
So like,
if
that's all it was, like, I think there's probably a lot of people that would be in support of that, rather than like a month or a multi-month closure.
Yep.
The thing I'd be curious about, if there's any studies, is like, and this is what I noticed when I fished up north a few years ago, is, and maybe so when a bass spawns laser eggs, can she do that again? Yeah, she can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
she can spawn a little here. It gets cold. She slides back down the hill, warms back up, warming trend. She'll spawn a little here with this buck bass. Yeah.
Up north, and I was smallie fishing one of the lakes up there, we were catching them off beds, right? Yep. And it was like a prime. I wish I had video of it, but it'd be like a prime example of why we want closure. Yeah. Is as soon as you would catch them and pull them off that bed, immediately bluegills would rush right to the bed to get the eggs or
Yeah.
whatever they're eating off the
Yeah.
eggs. And then
Yeah.
as soon as you drop her down, she goes right back to the bed
Yeah.
and pushes them off.
Yeah.
But how many are getting eaten?
Exactly.
In
Yeah.
the time period where
Yeah.
she's left.
Yep.
And it probably is not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, knowing now that they can lay eggs multiple times.
So here's
but at the same,
here's
same
where
time.
here's where it, you can keep going down a lot more levels with this. Like, so a bass on the flats specifically, or a bass that lives on the upper bay, has a much higher tendency to spawn a little bit, move back off, spawn a little bit, move back off, spawn a little bit, move back off. Reason why is because it's volatile. The conditions, where we live, things can change rapidly. You can have a week of a warming trend in May, and then the third week of May, oh shit, I'm putting wood back in the wood stove. Like, that's how dramatic it can change. Whereas a lake, that the whole ecosystem, the water temp comes up more gradually, it stays a lot more stable throughout that period of time. The rate of them having to do the spawn a little, move back off, spawn a little, it's a lot less. Like, lakes will, once you get to a certain extent, like if you break down, say, Champlain, and just going from the upper third of the lake, that vast majority of water stays at a much more regulated temperature than a place like the Bay does.
Right.
So
Yeah. Listen, I'm in favor for sure. Anything, to help the big females. I think a lot of people, I think that it's a tough line, and we're going to get into this with the hunting thing too, because like, it's one of those things, like, once there's a rule in place for that, like, it's hard to get that back.
Yeah.
If we ever see a time where maybe that closure isn't needed anymore, like, they're not going to give it to you back.
Yeah, no.
I mean, we're going to hop right into the next thing, but like, it's what we're dealing with the rockfish.
Yeah. Yep. I definitely don't want it to be you can't fish for them.
Right.
Because you can absolutely fish for a 8-pound largemouth on a bed, catch her, take her off, have your hero photo shoot. And as long as your fish care is, relatively decent, that fish can go back in the water. It can go back to the bed and continue right back at the job that she knew. And the bucks are the same. You can put a buck in your live well and it will swim back. You can fish with it for 15 minutes. Drew Cook did it at Santee 3 years ago. You can put a buck in your live well and fish around the pocket. And if you get back to that bed and the female's not acting right, you can put that buck back in the water and that fish will swim right back to the bed. It's crazy. Right. And that's on that, like,
right.
I would that's on tape.
I would definitely be in favor for paper tournaments, because like Lake Fork is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Like they
have a slot.
Is it a slot?
It's a slot. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Okay. I preface this. I've never fished there. I'll see elites fish there, but like when they do fish there, they're not allowed to live well.
Yeah,
so it's a
they're allowed to live well an over 24-inch fish or an under 16-inch fish.
Okay.
And if you have a 16-inch fish in your well at Lake Fork, you're in last place.
Right.
So
well, that's the thing. They're catching all the giants.
Yeah, they're catching all the giants. And what that does is that, again, this is not something I'd like to see happen on the Bay, but what that does is it protects it from tournament pressure, because you can't hold a tournament somewhere where you're like, you're going to catch, 5, 6, 7 pounders and you're not going to be able to bring them to the scales.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So they have to do it the paper tournament way.
What about some like 3 fish limit stuff, like when it's hot?
That's another one, man. And I know we got a lot to talk about, so I don't want to hog it here. A 3 fish limit's another great way to, like, I could see that being effective if you did that from like July 15th to like September 1st. Just limit it some, because you get those 1,000-degree days in August, and you fish a buddy tournament and you put 10 big bass in a live well when it's 100 degrees outside. Nothing good comes from that. Yeah. I've seen it too many times in BFLs.
Pretty much when you get to the point where like you'll just start thinking about putting ice in your live well to help keep them alive. It's like, man, what are it's got to be something.
Right. So, but no, man, I don't have all the answers for this, but my brain tells me that we have to do something to protect them during one of the 2 times where they're really vulnerable. Because I see it firsthand, and like there's a lot of fish that die certain times a year, and it's the same every year, So
I'd be curious what the state's perspective on that is because I feel like for the state, they probably don't really care because they're like, well, we'll just stock more. You know what I mean?
I don't know of any
because they do essentially stock the bay, right?
No,
every once in a while.
No,
they don't.
No, there's been state funded stocking on the Potomac a couple times,
right?
But there's been no state funded bass stocking to speak of on the Upper Bay to my best knowledge. There's a little bit of private stocking that goes on in the Gunpowder in the Middle River. There's a little collective of guys that, down in that region have made a point to do it every year.
Right.
But to my best understanding, they're not stocking on the bay. Okay. They're probably stocking like Liberty Reservoir.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, I could just see that would be like an argument.
Right.
Also, I also see why it wouldn't matter to the state because you're not going to lose. So the state's not going to do anything that's going to cause them to lose money.
Right.
Yeah. But you're not, if it's only 2 weeks, you're not going to lose money.
Yeah.
People are still going to buy fishing license.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know the exact date of it.
And I know the reason why that it doesn't get paid its close attention to as, maybe other fisheries like rockfish is because the large majority of people aren't taking bass home and eating them. It doesn't feel that effect, and it doesn't drive the revenue like rockfish does. Like rockfish is like big business, what I mean? Like for charter and everything, and like restaurants wanting to have them, on their menus. Like bass doesn't really have that, so I get it why like they're not turning a blind eye to it, but they're just like, it's doing all right. And it is. And the bass fishing on the Upper Bay, I want to preface this that we have not talked about this because it has not been in a good place. It has been in a phenomenal shape for 5 years now. So, but
yeah, I mean, it's all, it's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
just trying to solve the world's problems.
I definitely not. It's definitely not as, egregious as like the rockfish closure,
right.
And we might as well just go right into that. So, I mean, I
can't wait to hear about the rockfish because there's a lot of opinion on.
Can't keep track of it.
Yeah,
it is hard. It is hard, but I mean, like closing off the entire flats, like during, what would be the trophy season, is like.
But there's a push to bring that back now. They're trying to reopen the catch and release season.
Okay.
I don't know that's going to happen, but that's a push. And I think the difference there is, well, all the charter guys, not all, I shouldn't say that, but the people whose rockfish is their livelihood, I've asked some of them what their opinion is on the rockfish, and they're like, well, there's more rockfish now than there's ever been.
Right.
I don't see that.
Okay.
In the summer, for us, it's pretty good now. Like all those fish are from Rock Hall, from Tolchester to Pools Island and up in the summertime. But if you go there never used to be all those charters that are there now. And they're coming from Tillman Island. They're coming from way down the bay.
Oh, yeah.
That's where the fish used to be in the summertime. They're not there now.
Yeah.
It's hard to count fish numbers with a migrating fish. So you know what I mean? Right. So you don't really know.
Right.
You don't really know how many fish there are. We're seeing a lot of fish here in the summertime. Now, I don't know what it's like on the flats in the spring. You have a better idea of that because we can't fish for rockfish there anymore.
Right.
But it's a total different fish than bass because they're not on the flats making a nest and sitting on that nest.
Yep.
Those fish are coming up the bay. They're coming up on the flats to chase. Well, they used to chase herring.
Yeah.
There's not much herring there anymore, but
they're still doing that.
But they're coming up there to get bait.
Yeah.
And then when the water temperature hits like 60, 62 degrees, they slip off there. They go to the deep water, and that's where they spawn.
Okay.
I've sat at the mouth of the Bohemia before when they were spawning. You could see a big female on the top, and all the males running into her. And then she releases her eggs, and then the males do what males do.
Right.
And then the eggs just float. And then eventually they're fertilized and they go. But I've been at the mouth of the Bohemia
So a striper doesn't make a bed. Like stripers don't make a bed. No.
They'll be all schooled up.
Yeah.
Now I'm not an expert, but
Yeah.
I've seen this.
Right.
And the big female will be on the surface, and the males will be running into the side of her, and it'll just be like chaos.
Yeah.
She releases her eggs, then they do what they do.
Right.
And the eggs get fertilized, drift up. They like to do it in current and
Yeah.
cold water and current. That's why years that we have more rain and the water is colder, those are better spawning years, and you'll see it reflected in the young of the year index the following year.
Okay. Now,
That
where do they get
typically-
the young of the year indexes?
I don't know exactly where they do it, but it doesn't seem very scientific to me, but they pull a seine through the water in the
Right.
same spot every year, and they count. They
Yeah.
have a method of counting.
Yeah.
So to me, there's a lot of factors that could affect that.
It's not really foolproof.
What's
Yeah.
that?
It's not really foolproof. Like,
No,
It's
it's
based
not,
on
but
weather
at least there is some system to it.
Yeah,
anyway,
there's a-
which is, at least they are gathering that data. So what are the young of the year numbers look like on rockfish? Like, are they going in a good direction or a bad direction?
typically bad. If you look at that,
So they could just be
you'll see
gathering
peaks.
the data in
You'll
the wrong
see
place.
peaks where it's good.
Yeah.
And I don't have the chart in front of me, but if you look at that chart,
Right.
you'll see peaks, but if the overall trend is down.
Right.
But then you'll get, and that's what happens. Like you'll get a spike where you have really good breeding.
Right.
And the young of the year index is good. 2 years later or 3 years later, now you'll see a lot of fish being caught of that schoolie size.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people
Yeah.
think, oh, they're coming back. But then, so with stripers more so than bass, it's age class that really matters.
Right.
And that's what got really out of balance for a while. We didn't have those breeding class. We had a lot of small fish, but not, we were taking all the breeding class out with the
Which were
trophy
the
season
trophies? Yeah.
and whatever else.
Were
We just
were you
killed
allowed
it.
to keep trophies
Mhm.
back then?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
gotcha. I gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I have a whole garage full of trolling gear
Yeah.
for the trophies, and it's fun.
Yeah.
That's what it used to be.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's bad if it's managed and the population is managed, but it seems like the numbers aren't there to support it now. And
Right.
from all the data,
Yeah.
like I said, it's hard to count fish.
Yeah.
It's hard to count
It's hard to
migrating
count
fish.
fish. Yeah.
And that's
Yep.
why some people say
Yeah.
it's never been this bad. And some people say there's more fish than if you're on them,
Yeah.
you feel like if you're on them all summer long, you
Yeah.
feel like the fishery's great.
Right.
If you're in another spot where you can't find a bite,
Yeah.
then you feel
True.
it's just the opposite.
Yeah. So I mean, so the one thing that I can bring to this is that I've definitely seen an increase in the amount of rockfish and striper that habit the grass flat in the springtime. Specifically in the last 3 years, like it's just been
About since it's been shut down.
yeah. I
Maybe
mean,
it's been 4 or 5, but
right.
time goes fast these days.
Yeah. There's been an alarm, like it's not uncommon to be on some really sweetness for the largemouth, and you can get blown out by rockfish.
Mhm.
Just the sheer numbers of, those big giant ones, the I guess they would be the trophy class fish, like
Yeah, they're the females.
the
Yep.
cows.
Yep.
They're giant.
Mm-hmm.
If 20 of them come rolling through your grass bed, it's going to take a little while to reset.
Yeah.
And they don't stay there because they're
Mhm.
always moving. But like we've seen that a lot the last few years.
Yeah.
And
It's fun when you're allowed to catch them like that.
yeah.
So, and that's what I was saying. There's a push to bring that back.
Right.
And I think DNR has even talked about that.
Catch and release only, or
Catch and release only.
Yeah.
I think the caveat to that needs to be artificials
Yeah.
only.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the fish that get killed,
Yeah.
a lot of people say they don't want us to keep fish,
Yeah.
but they're up there harassing them and killing them during the spawn. If you catch those fish in cold water on an artificial,
Yeah.
I've never seen a floater. Now, it's not to say that after I left, that fish didn't go belly up.
Right. Yeah.
But, where they
But it's
get
not,
killed
it's
is
not swallowing a 6/0 circle hook.
right.
Right.
So you got
Like,
before they outlawed using herring,
yeah.
and now people use bunker or whatever
Yeah.
else, and
Yeah.
you go up in the Susquehanna a little bit, and you're bottom fishing for them,
Yeah.
you're going to deep hook some of those fish.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they are going to die.
Yeah.
And you can't keep them.
Yeah.
It's illegal to keep them. And
Yep.
so I think, I mean, this is all my personal opinion. This is
Yeah.
not.
No, I think there's a lot of
Play biologist.
yeah. I think there's a lot of validity.
I'm
to
still
it.
working on my degree. But yeah, I think artificials in the spring does
Yeah.
not bother those fish. They're not on a bed on the flats spawning. They're
Right.
running up there to eat.
Yep.
They'll slip off in the deep water. Like I said, I've seen them at the mouth of Bohemia on my machine.
Yeah.
It was red in that channel. So like 50 feet of water, it was red from top to bottom. I dropped a bucktail down through there,
Yeah.
and I could feel it hitting fish all the way down.
Yeah.
They will not bite.
Right.
When they're actively spawning, they will not bite.
Right. Right.
You know, before and after, yeah, they'll
Yeah.
bite.
Yep.
I just don't think it kills them, like, you know.
Right.
But I get like the argument, the guys that want to run charters, the outfitters, they want to keep that season so they can, that's their livelihood.
Yeah. Run artificial.
Yep. But, and like the flats, if you were an outfitter, there was a time where that was a lucrative business to run fishing trips on the flats in the spring for stripers. There was a lot of guys doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, the flats was covered with boats
Oh yeah.
just for stripers. After the moratorium was over, the flats was loaded with fish. I mean, you could throw big plugs like this all day long, and you wouldn't catch them all day long, but waves of fish would come through.
Yeah.
You'd catch them, and it was all catch and release.
Yeah.
But like I said, I haven't fished in a few years. I mean, we had one good day there 5 or 6 years ago, probably the last year it was. But
when they show up, the rockfish, they still show up thick on that flat.
Mhm.
Like, you know, you can go out and for sure target them.
so that's one of the few places they go to spawn.
Yeah.
All those fish from the Chesapeake Bay
Yeah.
fishery come here.
Yeah.
And well, a good chunk of them come here. They may be coming through the canal from the Delaware River.
Yeah.
Some of them come up the bay.
Yeah.
But
It's crazy how far they move.
And then they leave.
You know. Yeah.
Right.
Except the resident fish. You know, but the migrators, they're
big
here and then they
Yeah.
leave.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And that
Seems like it seems like they're pulling up short a little bit now. Like they're not making it, like you said, they're not making it all the way down to where they used to, because like if they were, the charter fleet wouldn't be up.
I don't think they're staying here. I think they're blowing through there,
Yeah.
which gets into another problem with the lower bay, which I think is a problem. And that's the omega protein problem in Virginia. So those boats come in there, they take
Omega protein.
Yep. They take all the bunker, the Menhaden.
Yeah.
I forget.
Big cargo ships.
So
Like, well, they look.
we've been out there cobia fishing. You'll see it. I've been out there fishing one day, and on my machine, like all kinds of life everywhere. Those boats roll in. So they're giant ships with kind of ships with boats off the back, and they have planes in there, and they spot the schools of bunker, Menhaden.
No
They
kidding.
call down to the boats. They bring those ships up. They drop the smaller boats up, and they run that purse seine around,
Yeah.
and they take millions and millions of pounds of food out of the bay. And now they're talking about not enough food for the ospreys. The osprey
Is that why the
reproduction-
dolphins were coming all the way up?
So
to
that's my theory. Is they don't have the food down there.
Oh, you
So
take
they're
the
coming
food
up
away.
here. They're
Fish
eating
are really-
rockfish.
Yeah. Dude, let one of those ships come north of the gunpowder, dude.
So, well,
There's little boats that chase down the
so they're not allowed to be in Maryland. They cannot come
Yeah,
to Maryland.
okay, good, good.
Virginia
Good
is
job,
the only. Virginia's the only state that allows it,
Yeah.
and it's all tied into money and the politicians and contributions to politicians. But they just take. So there's a big push right now to get them out of the bay, get them out into the ocean to the 3 mile limit, like
seriously.
every other commercial fishing.
Yeah.
Then those fish have a chance to get in the bay because they feed everything.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot of books about them, but being the most important fish in the bay.
Yeah.
Because they're the foundation of the food chain in the bay.
Yep.
So like stripers can't eat them; they eat crabs, they eat whatever else, and whatever other kind of fish they can eat.
Yeah.
The dolphins eat the stripers. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
I pulled up the young of year.
Yeah.
And you are right. It runs from 1954 to 2025, and it's constantly just up and down. Best years were early 90s to 99. Over the last few years, low numbers, but 19, 20, 21, 22 were decent. 23 was awful. 24 better. 25 better. So I think that according to Google AI, 2025 index was 4.0, which I guess is 4 fish per net. I guess, essentially,
how they count it.
Which is up 2 from 2024 and 1 from 2023.
I mean, I would really be interested to know if they are in fact doing it in the exact same, because I
think they are.
It wouldn't surprise me with a governmental agency if I had the privilege of working with a few of those, and but it wouldn't surprise me. But like,
even if it's the same spot, or the conditions the same, the water temperature the same.
Exactly. Is the wind out of the north or the south?
Right.
Like, there's a lot of variables.
But that's where it gets back to. It's hard to count fish.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they, just for reference, they do the same 22 sites throughout Choptank, Nanticoke, Potomac, and Upper Bay.
Right.
From July, they do it in July, August, and September, and they use a 100-foot beach seine net to sample those locations.
Yeah, so they put one in on the beach and they just drag it around, and then whatever they have in the net is what they use for their count.
The long-term average was 11, so we're still way down from that. But
and the other thing you have to remember, if you look at that chart, so if you go out and you catch a 25-pound striper, which is a nice striper, it's probably 13 years old or 14 years old. As a teenager, like it's
right.
So you can't look at 2 years ago and say, "Oh, well, we have a lot of fish," because those fish are only this big,
right?
Fair.
But the breeding class, you have to go back and just think about how many of those fish are taken out. Over the years.
So right before it fully closed on the flats, wasn't the rule that they were saying that the catch and release guys pulling them out of the water was killing them, because wasn't the rules
I don't know that.
They don't want
you weren't. It was a fine if they caught you taking it out of the water to take a picture.
The rule, it's so subjective, but it's supposed to be unhooked and returned to the water as quickly as possible. So everybody wants to hold it up, take a picture,
right?
But you don't want to hang it by its lips, and you want to support it, but not.
That's where it gets like in the weeds, so in the weeds there. Like it's like like if somebody. One person is going to be able to handle that fish a whole lot differently than another person. It's like an easy way to get around that. It would just be, hey, what's the fish down in Florida that they're not like
tarpon? Yeah, they put a scale off of it. They can't take it out of the water.
Put a tarpon rule in effect. You can take pictures of. You can still get really cool pictures of fish while they're in the water. That's an option for it anyway. Because it's true. Like, what I'll say is like, when we hook those giant ones, like there's 25 to like, I don't know how big they get. I would guess like 40 pounders, like
40, 50.
We've caught some of those giant ones out on the grass flat. And like, by the time you're done fighting that fish on 17-pound line on bass tackle, you're whooped and it's whooped. Like, that fish is like, I've spent probably 5 minutes or so just reviving those big giant ones before I, send her on her way. And whether that does anything, but I keep her in the water and flush water through her gills, like all the stuff my dad told me to do back in the day.
But how many of those big fish do you see floating?
The giant ones, not a ton.
Mm-hmm.
The mid class, you'll see a lot more of those, like the 7 to 12 pounders, like the ones that are like, they really still school up a lot together. Like you'll get on those schools of like, hundreds of them where like, you don't really see more than like, I've probably seen like groups of like 12 to like 20-ish of the true giant ones schooling together. But like I've shined some schools of the 7 to 12 pounders with my forward facing sonar that there's hundreds of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, so I think you see that size floating more because like, and it's hard not to want to do, but like you can get on a school of fish like that and you can just wear them out, reel them in every single cast, but you're beating up a lot of those fish by doing that, at a relatively vulnerable time for them. So,
But I would still argue that the majority of the fish that are floating are fish that are caught bottom fishing and deep hook, or maybe not
Really?
that are deep hook.
yeah. Oh,
Because-
yeah. I mean, that's, yeah.
Because go into some. So now they're talking about extending, or I think pretty sure they're going to extending the closure
Yeah.
in the summertime because of the number of dead fish that are killed.
Yeah.
Chumming,
Yeah.
live lining.
Yeah.
Those fish, you've seen it.
Yeah.
There's
You
no
go
doubt,
chumming.
like,
I don't care if you use circle hooks or not.
yeah.
That thing is down here by the time you
Yeah,
bring it up. And if
yeah.
it ain't 19, 20 inches or it's not whatever the keeper size is
They
for that
come
year,
back in the
you got to
water,
throw it back.
yeah.
It's dead.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's dead. And so,
True.
and you talk about
Artificial
lines
only.
of fish,
Well,
just
across the board.
lines of dead fish.
Yeah.
What's the rule on artificial? No barbs, or was no barbs?
On
Yeah.
rocks?
Yeah.
I think you can use
it's had-
barbs.
I'm trying to remember. So if you're using bait, it had to be a circle hook. I think you could have a barb, but if you were preseason trolling, like below Brewerton Channel, so down
Mhm.
towards the Bay Bridge, if you were trolling, you had to use barbless.
Okay.
Um,
Because I'm just
and then once the
thinking.
trophy season started, you could use whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking more so like what he's saying, like, you get into schools of like those medium sized fish,
Yeah.
like they want to feed so bad.
Yeah.
Even if you're throwing artificial,
Yeah.
especially like a smaller crankbait style or
Yeah.
jerkbait style, like what's to stop them from swallowing trebles
Oh, yeah.
all the way back?
True. Oh, yeah.
It's a lot harder to get that out than a barbless.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but like that fish there, you see the size of its mouth.
Right.
It can take a pretty big bait way down deep,
Yeah.
especially if you're not tight on it when
Yeah.
it hits.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I mean, those are just some of the things. There's a lot of problems with the fishery in the bay, the health of the bay, the dam, the omega protein problem in the lower bay. There's a lot of things. I think you don't have to do a whole lot except restrict the amount
Yeah.
of fish that are being caught for a while and
Yeah.
give them a chance to recoup.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't go to a moratorium like it did years ago because that was no fun.
What does moratorium mean?
They closed it.
Oh, okay.
The whole mid-Atlantic closed striper.
Oh, okay.
So nobody could catch him. But boy, when it opened back up, it was good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
I forget how many years it closed for.
Yeah.
But and then that's the other problem is Maryland operates independently from Virginia and New
Right.
Jersey and New York, and all those fish migrate up and down. So if you're not all on the same page, we might not be killing the fish, but New Jersey might be killing the fish.
Yeah.
New York might be killing the
Yeah.
fish. So you have to.
Well,
It's a
that's-
migrating
Oh,
fish. You
Jersey,
have-
Jersey gets pounded.
Jersey catches the crap out of
My
it.
dad has been fishing striper out of Atlantic Islands, Raritan Bay, for,
Mhm.
I mean, as long as I've known the guy. I mean, that's how long he's been ripping up there. Like,
Wow.
and he's seen it over the last handful of years, like just his zone, call it like Atlantic Islands, Raritan Bay. It went from it probably went up like 75% on just the amount of charter fleet that's there, because the fishing's good.
Yeah,
It's,
and my
you know.
theory on that one is, it's just a theory. I
Yeah.
don't know. Is because all that bait's being taken out of the lower bay.
Yeah.
Those fish are bypassing the bay.
Yeah.
They're following the bait,
Going on up.
and so they can't do that up there. I mean, they
It's
can in the
wild.
ocean, but
The fish will spawn in the Chesapeake and they will end up at the Statue of Liberty.
Further.
So-
Further. New
Oh,
England.
yeah, like,
New
it's,
England.
like
Mhm.
it's crazy
Yeah.
to think about that. Like, damn, they're
Yeah.
covering some water. And I love when people say about the bass, like, oh, if you catch them out on the flat, they're not going to swim back out there. Bullshit.
Yeah.
I
I mean, like, this has not doing with fisher or bass, but like this past summer, there was white marlin that were being caught, that were tagged, caught
Yeah.
on our side, this side of the states, that were tagged way over in some tropical island, like
Yeah.
thousands of miles that fish
Yeah,
travel
that's
through the
crazy.
ocean.
It's crazy.
all those fish.
They're
Blue-
good at
the
swimming,
tuna.
man. Turns out they're good. They can run like a deer under the water.
I'd be curious, what's the disease that those local fish get?
The Myco, I forget what the full name of
Is that-
it. You're talking about the lesions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
On
I'd
the
be
rockfish?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd be curious what the numbers are as far as like how many fish are dying from that compared to how many fish are dying from.
I don't think they've ever been able to quantify it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those fish survive.
Okay.
I mean, obviously it's obviously got to kill some fish because you pull some of them out of the water. It's
They're
they look horrible.
nasty.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they can quantify what percentage. That problem is not as bad as it was at one time.
Okay.
But it's still, I mean, most of the time it's resident fish, and it's in the summertime when the water's warm.
Right.
That's when you see that. Those migrators, you don't usually,
they're real
fish,
clean.
they're clean.
It's like a bass that's been caught 3 times in the back of the anchor marina, just hacked. May's been out there on a Monday after a weekend tournament, just ripping on him.
When we talking about fish camp, all I could think about was those poor fish in Mason's trap just banging their head on
Beat to death.
God,
The Northeast specialist.
So, as far and we'll end the rockfish talk, but do you agree with the closure
On the flats,
Yeah.
I would like to see flats catch and release open to artificial baits. I don't think live bait fishing. I don't think we're at a point with the population of the fish that I see, and I could be wrong, that we should be fishing for them with bait. Now, that's always going to happen because you're going to have people using bloodworms saying, I'm fishing for perch.
Yeah, fishing catfish.
Right.
But if you can't keep them, I don't think the number of people doing that is as large as if you could keep them.
Right.
That's a fact.
But that's what I would like to see. I'd like to see it all open up if the population could support it. And I think that's where the biggest problem is coming in is there's a lot of opinions on what the true population is. And it's hard to count a migrating fish.
Yeah.
And if my interest is not running a charter, it's not my livelihood. I just want to go out and catch fish and throw them back.
Right.
Somebody else, that's their business. They've got a different approach than I do. My wish is that the whole fishery was healthy and everybody could do whatever they want. Not go back to when I was a kid and you could keep as many 12-inch fish as you wanted.
Right.
I just
we got into this situation.
I just think the state would be much more willing to open it from a money standpoint. Like, think of how many more licenses they would sell if you had it open. You know what I mean?
Full open.
Well, just the trophy season, because I mean, you can catch them early, that.
I mean, it's hard to say. Depend. You say the state. I think probably the biologists want the fishery to be healthy, and there's another part of the government that looks at revenue. It depends who's making the decisions, I guess. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're making plenty of money off fishing in general. I don't know that a flats fishery that's catch and release for a month in the spring is going to make a real difference.
Yeah, we're a small drop in the bucket.
We're going to be fishing anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Ultimately, how they gather data, through the netting and all that's important too. But I hope the state is talking to the fishermen. I hope the state's talking to the anglers, I would be more interested in knowing what a charter boat captain's data looks like as far as and you'd really have to press to gather it, but how many fish between 10 and 20 boats hit, or 10 and 20 pounds hit the deck of your boat this year? How many fish between 20 and 40 hit the deck of your boat? People out there reeling them in.
That's one of the arguments that you hear too. The charter guys are out there every day, so they know what's going on, at least where they're at.
In their zones.
But the unaccounted portion of that, and the majority of that, is recreational anglers.
Right.
Nobody knows what you're catching and I'm catching, and what how many I threw back, and how many I catch.
So there's so many different angles to it. It's hard. We just got to hope for the best for our fishery anyway. It's
there is a guy we were going to have on at one point, Rob Newberry, and he's all in on going after the government, the state government for
I'm pretty sure he's in charge of the Charter Boat Association. So
Right.
I'm not saying I'm not saying what he's saying is not correct,
I'll take one.
but
Rich.
he's coming from that angle, which is a different angle than me coming out a couple times a month in my boat to try to catch some fish. You know, that's his life,
right.
you know, and he's representing all those guys.
Yeah. I mean, he's on it. I follow him on Facebook, and he is constantly just. Wes Moore specifically, but he goes after him hard.
Well, there's a lot of things you go after him for.
Yeah,
way more important than fish.
Right.
It's been a fun conversation so far.
I mean, we're an hour deep on just fish.
I know. Yeah.
I have a list of 7.
Oh, wow.
For hundreds.
70.
Wow.
But in fairness, they all
Have
have
to be accurate information because everything I said was
the part about this is it's never accurate.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain there's going to be a lot of comments on this, and I'm open to it of people challenging. You know, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
I just like the pulling them out of the water thing was always funny to me because like we've done it enough to know that it doesn't kill those fish, and we know 2 people specifically that were chartering those trips, and they were getting fined like crazy for pulling fish out of the water.
Yeah,
you know, and they were vocal about it too, like how bullcrap it is.
Yeah, that's DNR trying to crack down on something that's not the crux of the problem.
Right.
They're just we got to make a point of this.
Yeah.
That goes to also where I've seen them going after people that were fishing in the Susquehanna above that line where the flat fishery was supposed to close.
Yeah.
They're fishing above that line.
Yep.
And they say, well, I wasn't fishing for stripers. Well, you caught 4. Now you're supposed to move because you can't actively be trying to catch them here.
You change baits, right?
Yeah. Well, you have to move or change or do something because supposedly, you could throw a different kind of bait and the stripers are there.
Oh, yeah.
And you're catching stripers.
Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to not continue to do that.
I got
so that's
a lot of
nitpicking.
baits I can keep switching on.
That's nitpicking, but that's them just trying to make a point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. I would love to see them just because I had fun catching them, and it's been several years since
an artificial only catch and release only season, like that would be nice to see come back.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean,
nice.
It was crowded out there.
Advertising for those trips, promise you. That's because they are fun.
I don't think a lot of people that fish out there today probably didn't fish out there when it was at the height of it.
Yeah,
that
true.
The flats was loaded.
Yeah, with boats.
Was loaded with boats.
Yeah,
and guys running charters and everything else.
There's still a decent fleet that hits it every year, but you don't see it. Well, you don't see them out there until when's it come in? June 1. Is that?
We're somewhere.
June.
It's June. There. I mean, you can fish up till. Was it up till April 1st?
Yeah. And then it closes. Yeah.
And if the weather's right, they are there before April 1st.
Yeah.
If the weather's not right, the water temperature's not right. They're not there.
Right.
I mean, you saw how many people were on that small school 2 summers ago. All the way up in the Elk.
Oh yeah. That was nothing there. Right. I mean, those are nice fish.
Yeah.
And that, I've never seen that in my life.
Yeah.
In the July, right?
Right.
It was July
4th.
right before it closed.
How deep were they?
20
feet.
20 feet.
Yeah. I mean, they were
Pretty
in the
friggin'
channel.
awesome.
They were right in the channel.
Yeah. They were right in the channel.
And those fish were always gone in July down, and it was, the water was hot.
Yeah.
It was July.
Yeah. There's a reason they were there.
Yeah.
Something.
I think they got pushed there.
Yeah.
To some degree. I don't know. There was a lot of dolphins.
I was to say,
there
that
was a lot of dolphins that summer.
sightings.
Really?
And there was all those fish around.
Wasn't that a crazy
there was all those fish around Tolchester and everything.
Yeah.
But the salinity level was up too because
we can really go into it here.
because I'm pretty sure you caught a cow-nosed ray.
Yeah.
Oh man.
In the Elk River.
In the Elk? That's awesome.
Yeah.
What year was this?
It was 2 years ago.
23? Yeah, probably 23.
2 years ago. Yeah. I got some pictures of it.
July, August.
It was July. It was
July 4th. It was it was right around my birthday, the first trip we went.
because we took the kids out.
And we continue to catch them almost all of July because
Well,
You and
it
Bucky
closed
went out.
like a week after. I think Bucky and them fished for like a week, and then then the closure came in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The summertime
I
closure.
went like 2 days after with Kenny and Briar and all them, and we called them again.
That salinity impact is
But-
such a big deal on the bay that doesn't get talked about.
But that was cool because like it was a no-brainer where they were at. Like
Yeah.
there was talks of where the school was moving,
Yeah.
but as soon as you putted over them on your graph, it was a giant
Yeah.
hump off the bottom. Like it was clear as day that that's right where they were all sitting.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But then they would shut down as soon as the boat traffic started.
Yeah.
The summertime
They
boat
get smart.
traffic. They,
Crazy.
they
Yeah.
would slip off in that channel and just lay down there and be like,
Yeah.
nope.
Yeah.
Well, early morning,
Yeah.
they'd come right back up.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were feeding on. Rain minnows, glad. I don't know. No big baits up there, but they were there.
Yeah.
Pretty nice fish for that time of year.
Yeah, I mean, they had to be. I think that year they had to be 20 inches that time of year.
I forget. I have pictures on my phone with Landon. I mean, that one he's got mid-20s.
Yeah, I think the only fish we put back were the ones that were over the size limit.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah,
It didn't take us long. We were done quick. But
yeah.
anyway.
But all right, well, good conversation on the fish there.
Yeah.
Now we're an hour deep.
Switch gears over
We'll
into
switch
the
gears
into
here,
the
right in.
deers.
We'll get right into the deer hunting. Mason, you haven't said much. You got anything you want to start with?
I don't know. I mean,
Come on, dude. I know you got something in there.
I like
What?
to see
We'll
bait
start-
going first thing.
All right, you're going right for the bait piles.
Yeah.
Why?
I think a lot of reasons, but right off the bat, spread of disease, whether it be EHD or whatever. My opinion, a lot of the places that you see big EHD hits are like guys that are hunting over feeders, super tight food plots. I mean, I think a lot of it gets spread in that. Same with like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with brain abscess. That's like Southern Queen Anne's and can't get hit hard with it, but it's from deer being close and spreading saliva into wounds. But when you're hunting over 500 pounds of corn in a circle, all those deer are damn near touching and they're spreading saliva and diseases. And I think you can go deeper into how many immature deer being shot over it and that stuff. But from like what the state would probably want to see, like stopping disease spread, I think that'd be a good start.
Yeah. So bait, to me, corn piles are at the epicenter of all the issues, right?
Yeah.
It's at the center of the cell cam issue. It's at the center of the crossbow issue.
Yeah.
It's at the center of access issue. It's
CWD.
so that's
Not here,
That's
but-
where I was going to start. Is in these Midwest states, you are right. The corn piles are the main focus for disease, right? So
Yeah.
CWD is obviously not here in Maryland yet. But not to say that it won't get here, but if it does get here, they're going to have to do something because that's where it's going to corn
Yeah.
It's going to start at the corn
We
piles.
have no confirmed cases. Or?
One, maybe.
Maybe one.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, that's good.
I'll look it up real quick.
That is-
No, I mean that's great.
We have
That's great news.
EHD.
We have EHD,
Oh,
But that's not spread. That's not spread deer to deer.
right. That's from midges.
That's a bite. That's a bug bite.
Gotcha.
Right. So you see that more in like swampy areas. Well, what is it specific? It's
Yeah.
so
What
they lay in the
happens in-
soil, and then once the soil gets wet,
In years of a drought, typically is when you see it, and the deer go to water, so they
Yeah.
congregate around water. The midges come out of the mud. They're basically like no-see-ums, like
Yeah.
the little no-see-um bug.
Yep.
They bite the deer with this virus,
Yeah.
and it kills them in like 48 hours.
Yeah. It's like mad cow,
And they-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's different. It's a
Oh.
virus.
Oh,
CWD is like mad cow.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's-
okay.
That's the prions in
That's
the
deer to
brain
deer. Yeah.
that you can't ever get rid of, even after the deer's dead. It's in the soil. But anyway, they get that bug bite. They get a fever. They get a bad fever.
Yeah.
They go to water because they're hot.
Yeah.
And that's typically why you find them. That's where
Yeah.
they get it, and that's where they typically die because of the fever. They're trying to get cooled off in the water. Shane can tell you all about it. I mean, he's found plenty of them when it
Yeah.
hits. And it's usually when you have a drought and the mud gets exposed,
Yeah.
like the water level drops.
Mm-hmm.
But it's real like localized. Like it'll be here one time, and then it's the next county or the next state. Like Ohio got hammered with it this year.
Yeah.
You know, CWD is a whole different thing. That spread deer to deer. And a lot of controversy around that because it's like Wisconsin and some of those states had it bad. But, and you'll hear Ted Nugent talk a lot about this. Like, is it really killing the deer? They say like EHD, deer die from EHD, deer die with CWD.
Right.
Like they could have it for like 6 years before it kills them.
Right.
Well, ain't too many deer making it 6 years anyway.
No.
But if it does, like you can't stop it. It would destroy the herd, the population. That's why they're trying to stop it before it spreads.
Right.
There's a lot of unknowns, and I don't know really anything about it because we don't have it here.
It's a good, way to look. I mean,
it's like mad cow. It's the prions. That's why they won't let you bring whole deer from state to state. Right. You have to take it off the bone because it's it's in the spine, it's in the brain. And they say when a deer dies from that, the prions remain in the soil forever. And so then something grows out of the soil and then they can eat that and be, it's crazy.
All right. So no corn piles. What's your next hot take?
I just want to say real quick. So I looked it up. Maryland total ever was 285 cases of CWD. 62 new positive cases were found in 2024 survey, primarily with the expanded CWD management area that now includes Howard County, Allegheny County. So
west.
So it's western Maryland.
Yeah.
It's probably
there
spread
Baltimore.
I mean, Ohio's not that far away.
Right.
It's probably coming this way.
Right. Yeah.
But that's the other thing they argue about is the testing. So we didn't used to test for it.
Right.
Maybe it's been here a long time. Maybe it hasn't.
True.
We just started testing for it. You know what I mean? There's a lot. There's a lot around that.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how the state does it here, but like a lot of those Midwest states now, like you have to, like, I don't think it's mandatory to have your deer tested. Like you have to drop it off somewhere if you wanted to say if it was tested. So like they don't really have I'm sure they have a decent understanding of how much
they encourage it, but I think they have to take it from the jaw.
Yeah.
So if you killed that thing, you're like, no, I'm not going to have this tested because they got to cut that out. So the one thing you think about that you hear about is like if you took your deer and got it tested. So CWD has never jumped from a deer to a human.
Right.
But if you took your deer and it tested positive, would you eat it?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Or yes.
Yeah. That's like a week of meals.
But I would too. But
there's no hesitation. Not yet.
I mean, it was immediate. Fire right back in water. Oh my god!
I would do the same. But it just makes you think,
right?
Because it's never jumped from a human, but all of a sudden you're like, you're gonna eat that deer? It's got CWD,
right?
Yeah.
I think mad cow
just don't get them tested. That's it.
You don't know. You might have been eating it for 20 years before you took that one to get tested. You don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in the hunting community who just don't think it's even real. Like they just don't they refuse to acknowledge that it's even a real thing. They just think it's like a state's way of.
Well, I mean, if it's not killing deer.
Apparently, it does kill them eventually, but they say it takes years for it to kill them.
Yeah, it's like
they're being knocked down by something else.
Like, and they're 6, 7 years old.
They could live that long with it. Yeah, and most of them are getting taken out.
You're just so hungry all the time.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. I agree. I would take baiting. I would get rid of baiting in a heartbeat. And we bait a lot.
Yeah. We saved me so much money if they outlawed it.
But from my perspective, it's more of an access thing, right? So the fact that the state allows you to bait, well, now people are
only on private, by the way. Only for everybody that's in there watching.
That's most states are only private land.
Yep.
But it's taking away it's just in general, it's taking away access. It's because anybody will scoop up a 5-acre property now because that backs up to a chunk of woods because they could draw deer to the 5 acres by putting out a bait pile, right? So it's like
backyard hunters.
Yeah, I mean it's a multitude of things. It's people out of state, it's non-residents buying land here. It's specifically for hunting. Like I would think in this day and age, the state is selling more property for hunting purposes than it probably ever has because
For sure.
because we can bait, you can use a crossbow, you get $3, all this. Whereas
$3 and 3 stags.
Yeah, and that's a perfect example. Dorchester County. The lands in Dorchester County is selling like crazy, and it's useless. Outside of killing waterfowl and sika deer, it's useless. It's swamp. Like in years past, like nobody would buy that just to hunt it. It's like
so you can bait for sikas too if it's on private.
That's happening. 95% of them get killed.
That's about the most effective way to kill them.
Yeah. And it's like for people like us, like that do leases, like it's getting harder and harder and it's getting more expensive. It's like bait is causing the sport to become a rich man's sport.
Yeah.
And it's like a slippery slope because if the state just keeps allowing it to happen, eventually there's going to be no access unless you can fork out $20,000 for a lease or millions for a piece of property.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and I'm not saying it would decrease the value of property if it was taken away.
Yeah.
But there'd be more to choose from.
Yeah.
You'd have less non-residents coming here.
Yep.
Like, I don't think PA allows baiting, and we draw more PA hunters than I would imagine most places do because we allow Sunday hunting, we allow baiting, our season's open earlier.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just a multitude of things, and like I said, like we're him, like people like him and I are feeling it the most. Because each year we roll around to early spring and it's like, okay, where are we hunting next year? Or where are we hunting this season? Do we need to look for a new place? Like how much is it going to cost? And, you get into all these things.
Are the numbers like the cost to like get on a lease, they're going up like pretty steadily? Yeah. I guess that's the same with everything, the cost of everything's going up, but like, what you're saying makes a lot of sense about the effect of like people will buy up any piece of woods because they know if they bait it, they think if they bait it, they're gonna, know.
But there's also less land available.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, like you could go, we small game hunted. We just go wherever for hours and hours, and you never had a problem. You could just go wherever you wanted.
Yeah.
Now with development and some anti-hunting sentiment among some people and everything.
Some people
and I don't knock them for this, but farmers have realized this is another source of income for me. Yeah. And there's a demand. Yeah. So that drives the game too. Yeah. And like the PA guys coming here or whatever, like we have good deer on Eastern Shore. We have a lot better deer than they have in the mountains of PA. Oh yeah. I mean, that I think is getting better. But with the antler restrictions, I mean, but I don't know that they have the numbers that we have, and they don't have the the quality of deer.
We are very fortunate to live where we live for that as well. Like I don't know nothing about nothing when it comes to deer hunting. I let you guys handle all that. But what I do know is that we get just enough cold that it forces them to eat. It forces them to do a lot of things. But it ain't cold enough that it's all going to the body or it's all going to the bone. Like the split is right there. And like and I've had this conversation with some people about our area and like they've asked like, why do you think, it grows some big deer? And man, there's a lot of good food. There's a lot of big woods and there's some areas where there's not a whole lot of roads. So like you take one of those factors that kills deer right out of the way, which is deer's getting hit on highways and whatever. Cause like I see it in New Jersey. Like I grew up in South Jersey my whole life, but like the climate there is very similar. The agriculture is actually very similar to South Jersey and the Eastern Shore of Maryland. Like I'm talking like South Jersey, like where all the agriculture goes down. But the problem is that everything in that part of the state is so blocked off and so tight. There's a road going every which way that the deer get killed on the roads. Like we're in a special little nook where you get that perfect little balance. And
just imagine if we were like Iowa, where you can kill one buck. Imagine the deer that would be running.
I mean,
I'm not advocating for that, but I'm just saying that would be.
I mean, I would 100% advocate for one buck. And I think that's another issue.
Or a draw system for non-residents, or
I would also
whether it's every other year or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I know they impact public a lot.
Hammered with out-of-state hunting.
Yeah,
it does. I think a lot on public. I don't know on private how much it affects it. I don't know.
What do you think?
I just don't know. I mean, it could be.
It's a lot harder to justify a lease, whereas you can come down here and hunt the public for nothing. I think that's the reason there's more Maryland guys hunting the.
You don't think there's a lot of PA?
Oh, for sure there is.
Hunters hunting lease,
but I think there's more PA guys hunting public land than there are PA guys coming here and hunting leases.
Yeah, our out of state tags,
Amish.
Yeah, they're a drop in it's a drop in the hat compared to some other states. So it's nothing. I mean, it's not a drop in the hat. It's like $200, but it's by the time you're all said and done. But that's nothing for a PA guy that can come down here and hunt a month before their season starts, and
they can really hunt, not that far away,
right? And they can hunt public land whenever they want. But like you said something about like your neighbors. I would argue that if you got rid of bait, like we're dealing with this problem currently now, is like we have a farm that is surrounded by farms on all sides of it that are all being hunted. Now you take away bait and maybe it's not that they all don't get hunted, but maybe only one or two get hunted. So now you are opening up the opportunity for a better chance at killing deer.
Yeah. Bait doesn't just affect you, it affects everybody around.
Right. Because like, let's say like we don't bait for 2 weeks. Well, that guy over there, he's putting out 1,000 pounds every 3 days.
Yeah.
Obviously all the deer are going to be over there. They're not they have no reason to come over here when they can go to a 1,000-pound corn pile over there. So it's like,
I'm seeing some trends on our opinions of regulations in bait coming into it.
Well,
I mean,
like
I got a pretty good chunk of money in my retirement. I'll outbait your you stop baiting, I'll outbait you. I mean, and that being said, like the bait pile thing is, obviously you're drawing deer, but we've been baiting for a while, and I can't say that the number of big deer increases with I think the biggest thing it helps is that you have the does, and so that's going to keep a buck around there during the rut, because they don't tend to live on those big bucks don't tend to live on those bait piles. They figure it out pretty freaking quick.
I would
they would be in the area. You know what I mean?
I would agree with that. And I think the reason Maryland is so liberal is because they constantly are saying that we're overpopulated with deer, which I think we are. But I think that problem is also
taking data from like Bel Air South.
Well, I think the problem also lies with corn piles, because now corn piles and cell cameras allow you to be selective. And a lot of guys aren't meat hunters anymore like us.
It's true.
They're buck hunters. So they're killing their 1, 2, or 3 bucks a year, and then that's it. You're not.
I'll tell you
you're
what,
not,
the
they're not
spots
killing the does.
are not overpopulated with deer. I've never once hunted a spot and be like, man, they are way too thick. They are do something. That's Carter. Like it's got
That's fair.
They look at it from a statewide. They look at it from a region A, region B perspective. But I mean, even just driving from Elkton down to Centerville, down to wherever, all along that way, there's spots where there's very few deer. There's a lot of deer. There's a few deer. It all depends on what it's area specific.
Right. And I think if you got rid of bait piles and you got rid of cell cams or whatever, it would go back to, you don't know what's there, so you're killing whatever you see. Whereas and I think that would entice more hunters to shoot more does, therefore solving in the right direction of the overpopulation issue.
But so you guys think it should be one buck?
Oh, absolutely.
Like
Doesn't really affect me.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, it doesn't affect
Like,
me either.
one
But
money.
$1 for gun, or I mean, $1 for bow, $1 for gun, or just $1.
$1.
I like to see one and a bonus, not for out of staters, in state only.
Okay.
Okay.
And second buck has to be antler restriction.
I would
100%.
agree with
Antler
that.
restriction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would
Which
agree
isn't
with that.
foolproof either, but
And I think the bonus tag should not be as easy as just buying it. It should be earned. So correct me if I'm wrong. It used to be you had to shoot 2 does before you got your additional
Earned
buck
buck,
tag.
yeah, but how many
but-
guys are checking in ghostos?
Yeah.
Well, back then you had to check in person. So
True.
we could get
I think
into that issue as well.
I can't remember. I think that the physical check-in was not necessarily in place when the 2 doe before you can kill your next buck thing goes. I can't remember the timing of it all. Maybe it was, but yeah, that
does.
sucks because I could never kill my second buck. That's because I didn't kill the first one.
I mean,
I
yeah,
got the
Mason's
2
the
does,
only one
yeah, no problem.
taking advantage of the multi-buck tag. But I mean, like the in-person check-in has become a problem as well because there's a lot of states, including Maryland, where if there is an overpopulation issue, then we need to go to an earn a buck, whether it's you earn just your 1 buck tag or you earn a buck
Yeah.
on the bonus tag. But if with just the app check-in or a phone call check-in,
Yeah.
you don't have to actually kill them. You can just check them in.
Yeah, that's
So-
definitely happening before.
Right. So there's some states, and I was doing a little bit of research on this, that now require a picture time and when you submit your
Yeah.
confirmation of the kill. And the picture they're using, a program or AI of some sort to pull the data from the picture to confirm timestamp, date, all that. So therefore they're doing an in-person check-in without doing it in person.
Yeah.
Now, if you absorb that system, then you could go to an earn a buck bonus tag
Right.
or, earn a buck first
Yeah.
tag, whatever
Yeah.
it may be. But in any case, 3 is
Too many.
It's way too many.
It's a lot, but not the guys I hunt with.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
God,
That hurts to be like, yeah, there's a deer overpopulation problem. It's like,
Yeah.
oh god, it's all those 7
Where?
deer all year.
Sign me up.
Man,
trust me, I know. I just like
that's a rough one.
it just kills me because like I don't own land, right? I mean, you guys hunt public land, we hunt leases, so like leases were a little bit more selective, right? But for those 3 buck tags, like who has a property where you can kill 3 mature bucks?
It's not happening often.
Right. So it's like, what's the
Right.
point?
Yeah, the
What's
guys that are
point
taking
of having
advantage of it are the guys that aren't killing mature deer.
Right.
And
Yeah,
in
that's
my
it.
opinion,
Yeah,
this all
for sure.
stems back to corn piles because I don't know what you guys do, but almost everybody is going to stop feeding the day the season ends. Almost everybody.
Right.
There's some shed hunters that might, and there's some guys maybe that own land that are going to bait all year and watch them.
Mhm.
But what these guys do is they bait all the way until January 31st, which I think is a problem. I would like to see it December 31st. We have mothers with does that are born in the spring, and August, these guys start baiting. That mother and doe is going to that corn pile every single day. They kill the mother early season. Those fawns are just living off that corn pile.
Yep.
Next year, that guy's putting a corn pile out. All those fawns know how to make it through the winters off a corn pile.
Right.
And those 1.5-year-old bucks, stupidest deer in the woods to begin with, are going right to them. And they're the easiest deer to kill. And from a shed hunter's aspect, like the last 3 years, the amount of dead fawns that I see is crazy. That have just died in February and March. And it's because
What's
these
killing
deer,
them?
lack of food, these deer
lack
are
of
fed
food, yeah.
all
And
of the
then
cold month.
Well,
and then
and
they
then it stops, and they're like, yeah,
yeah. So corn provides no nutritional value to deer. It doesn't help them develop fat. It doesn't. It doesn't really
Like
do.
empty calories.
Right. So when they're reliant
yeah,
on that corn pile, and all of a sudden it stops, well, they don't know how to properly forage
yeah.
the woods to help them sustain
Yeah.
themselves.
in
And the
January
winter's
is
killing
the
them.
least amount of forage that we possibly have.
Oh,
Right.
So
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that as well. I mean, we don't help that situation. I'll tell you that.
yeah, I mean, I don't blame people for it, but
Right.
if we
Yeah.
could outlaw it completely,
yeah.
Yeah.
that's out of the picture.
Right. I agree.
That's an interesting take.
I would.
I didn't think about it from that perspective.
Yeah,
like
I mean, you're right. Like when the season's over, we don't necessarily always bait to the end of the season, but when it's over, we're done.
Yeah.
But at my house, I have 15, 17 deer coming to my yard every night. I give them 1 bucket of food, but I feed them all the way up until everything turns green again.
Yeah.
And then I stop because I know then that there's plenty of food for them. But the deer I'm hunting, I don't give them that consideration.
Right.
I'm done hunting, so I'm done feeding.
Yeah, and nobody wants to, fork out the $100 in corn.
100.
Well, but when there's no season is what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
But yeah, like if you want sheds, that's a good way to keep. If you have them, we don't even have them, so there's no point in feeding them. But that's a good way to keep them coming. To hopefully drop right there or nearby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope because the state. I mean, we're saying all this, but the state's not going to do anything. No. They're not going to take it away because they're making more money now than ever.
Yeah,
you know, because bait and crossbows are just drawing people.
The statewide population is healthy, and so why would they change unless the population was in a crisis point? That's typically when they make their moves.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I the only thing that I would see would ever get rid of baiting is if all of a sudden we had a CWD issue, because then their hand would be forced.
And at some point, they're going to get pressured to do that. I'll guarantee you,
right?
Because it's moving this way. It's in PA, it's in Ohio. Apparently, it's in Western Maryland. It's coming, and it's a controversy in every state. So it's
right. I mean, there is a lot of just cause for a push to do away with baiting. There really is.
I mean,
my ears are open to some things now to that I didn't walk in this room even thinking about it from that perspective.
Well,
like the disease deal, like it's like if you put enough people in one room together and they're all eating at the same place every single day, and we're all regurgitating or recirculating the same air every time we're sitting there eating. Guarantee you somebody's walking out of that room with the flu.
Right.
Especially this time of year, it's not going to take long.
Right.
It's what's killing all. I mean, look at the snow geese that are dying because there's so many of them together, and the avian flu is spreading from one to the other. And that's why all these waterfowl are dying. Anytime you put a bunch of animals close together, disease is going to run rampant.
Yeah, no doubt.
How long has baiting been allowed? Forever?
I can't remember when we started. I don't remember it being illegal.
Yeah.
So
I can't remember it. You know, there was a period there where I was primarily waterfowl and small game, but I don't remember.
The only reason I ask is because I feel like it didn't really amp up until trail cameras became a thing, because now you could take inventory, you could be selective.
True.
Which I think also stems back to an access issue, because now you have people hunting property that would never have been hunted before because they can take inventory and be selective and not have to hunt it until something shows up.
True.
But I mean, let's be honest about it. That's mainly what we use it for.
Right.
We use it to kill does,
right,
and to see what bucks we have. We don't kill big bucks over that bait.
Yeah.
We just don't. When we kill something decent, he's off the bait. He's chasing a doe, or he's on his way somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He knows that that's not where he needs to be, unless it's January. And he's 160 inches, but he weighs 135 pounds, and he's hungry as hell. So, shout out to my man Chris.
And they're not on Chris, but that deer would still be alive if there was not a crossbow in that hand. But nonetheless, giant deer. And I wish I had the sheds here.
How do you guys feel about the season completely coming to an end December 31st?
Archery and everything. I don't know what that gains us.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what that gets you either.
I think it gains a lot less shed bucks are getting shot.
But
everybody looks at this different, but especially late season, like talking late January, there's does that are being shot that have already been bred and already have fawns in them. I guess it's a tough thing, is if you end the season on December 31st, but allow baiting up into it, then you got another month those deer got to make it through. But when you run bait all the way through January,
February is still pretty darn cold.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I think those deer getting stressed September, October, November, December. Like, why not give them a break for the 2 coldest months, January, February? Let them just rejuvenate. Do we see bigger deer? I don't know. I think it could all play a factor.
I mean, that.
Now, I don't hunt in January.
Overall numbers, you would have to
I
see a
don't hunt
factor
that much.
because it's just less deer getting shot. You know, like
and you
just
can,
right off the top.
Especially if we get snow, like you can put out 300 pounds of corn middle of January, and you're going to have a shitload of deer on that corn, and a guy can sit there and slaughter. And especially when we have 3 buck tags,
Freezer
and
would
that
be
guy's sitting there with 2
You're verbatim now, I know.
like
talking.
I see the point. I think I'd be more in favor for a much more shortened gun season.
Okay.
Because gun season pretty much runs
Yeah.
from the end of November all the way to second week of January.
Yeah, it's
essentially.
long.
It's a long.
It used to be a
haul.
week.
Yeah,
That was it.
I'd be more in favor for that.
Week of
because
muzzleloader, week of shotgun,
And no
That's what it
late
used to be.
rifle.
no late rifle, because then you're forced archery hunt in that cold month of January, and
It's hard to kill them with the bow, and
you're not.
In
Most
January.
guys are not going to do that anyways.
Yeah.
You know, especially if it's cold. Now,
where we live.
And that's
now, like
guys-
crossbows are here. The crossbow guys will be. They'll be hunting out of a box blind or a ground blind and shooting a crossbow.
true.
But I still think that we would still benefit from a much shortened gun
Yeah.
season.
When it was a week of rifle and a week of muzzleloader and no late gun season, like not that many people hunted into January.
Yeah.
It was over, there's a handful of hardcore people, but it wasn't like it is now. Now you pretty much have to, if you're hunting muzzleloader, you're going to hunt into January. If you're going to hunt the late gun, you're going to, and but I get it. If you haven't killed anything, it gives you more opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's when the drives occur, is that 2-day late rifle. Most of them.
Most of them.
Because you have guys that have sat on tags through that gun season, and then you have a few weeks of bow and muzzleloader. And like I remember last year, Maryland bow hunters, I see a guy he posted a shed buck and a half rack buck. And you can check that shed buck in as a doe, even though that could be a 2, 3, 4-year-old mature buck.
Mm.
Yeah.
And personally, I feel like that sucks.
Yeah. And that has a more of an impact on public land, I think, because for us, we know what bucks we're chasing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you could shoot a doe. It's happened. I haven't, or shot a buck that I thought was a doe. I've never done that, but it's obviously easy to do.
Yeah.
Although she
A lot of this,
she looked big coming out through there. Oh, God.
a lot of this definitely keeps stemming back to the bait pile. Like honestly, like that,
Well, that's why I said it's at the epicenter.
it-
All
it
the
is.
issues stem
You're
around.
You're
it.
right. It's at the epicenter. Like hell, I promise you, there's a lot of hunters that spend a lot of time hunting public land with a crossbow that don't have super high success rates, and it's not because they don't. What I'm getting at is like when it comes to the bait pile, like you can. How far can you shoot a deer with a crossbow? I'm not even sure.
Nowadays, 100 yards.
100 yards.
100.
Yeah.
So like that combination of that type of equipment and the bait pile becomes pretty substantial. I don't really feel like crossbows are much of an issue without bait though.
Easy, big fella.
No.
Easy.
Why?
No, I'm just kidding. I think it still gives you an advantage.
Yeah,
Because, like-
it does, and you're right. It definitely does give you an advantage. But like, look,
Well,
if you can shoot a compound, you should shoot a compound. But like, there's also a whole nother side to it where like, like I take, my dad hunts with me a lot. He shoots a crossbow. You know why he shoots a crossbow? Because his confidence level to execute is going to be, exponentially higher. And like, so like, I don't really, and a lot of times when you're bow hunting, the scenarios that you're faced with, like we're not hunting. You don't have an opportunity at a 100-yard shot. You know what I mean? It's you're maxed out at 35, 40, at the most, to where you can have, clear windows, but again, you change that scenario completely, where if you can have a crossbow in your hand and reach out and touch them to 100 and add bait into there.
Yeah.
You're right about that. Like I'm not a fan of crossbows, but part of me likes the fact that there are guys that used to hunt with a compound and didn't put the work in and weren't accurate, wounded a bunch of deer, and at least now they're killing those deer.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then there's kids, and then there's women that maybe aren't into it as much. And
that helps us, like having the crossbow door open definitely helps the growth of the industry as a whole. And again, that's it changes in so many, it morphs, in where you're hunting, the areas, the access. There's so many different, I don't want somebody to be listening to the show and then feel like alienated on a crossbow. But you know what I mean?
My argument to that would just be work harder, right? Like if you're not confident with a compound, so
to a guy that was serving for the country and had his hand blown off, like
that's different, because we used to allow you to use crossbows if you were
to have a rule.
Yeah, if you were disabled or to a certain age where you couldn't physically draw a compound back, you were allowed to get a permit.
Okay, to a certain age, so you'd have to have a permit for it. That makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense. If you were disabled, you could get one, or if you were at a certain age, you could get one.
Yeah,
I'm perfectly fine with that, and I'm perfectly fine with kids having them. What I don't like is the grown men that are going that route because it's easier. Because you can go to you can go to the store, you can buy a crossbow in the morning, go home, sight it in, and be deer hunting that afternoon.
Yeah,
men and women sports.
Yeah. That's what it is. I mean, like this year's a perfect example. Like Chris had that giant at 80 yards during the rut. With a compound bow, you're not taking that shot. If he had his crossbow, or if anybody else had their crossbow, like they're probably trying.
Can you really shoot them that far out?
Yeah, dude.
Holy smokes, dude.
Shoot to 100 yards.
I had no idea.
You can put it on a
like
shooting
400
stick
feet per second.
High-powered scope.
Yeah.
No, I get that, but I just didn't know how far out that it could actually you could touch it.
And there's a couple ways like
I did not think I would have guessed 60, 70,
dude,
but 100.
I can't tell you how many times during the rut where I've had big bucks out of range that I could have killed. Like this year, I could have also killed a nice 8-point during the rut with a crossbow.
Yeah.
It's like,
and you have guys that aren't educated about deer whatsoever that, okay, I have a crossbow. I don't have to practice. I don't have to learn anything.
Yeah.
And I'm going out. I know for a fact the amount of wounded deer has skyrocketed. I mean, my dad's probably one of the biggest shed hunters in this area, and I've seen it too. Like the amount of dead deer is just skyrocketed every year. It's getting higher and higher, and a lot of them with crossbow bolts.
Yeah,
and I mean, it all goes back to the bait thing. A lot of them around bait, but 100% deer getting wounded with crossbows. And like I'm hunting public land, I run into a lot of guys. You know how many guys with crossbows are telling me they lose deer? Way more than the compound guys, and obviously a compound is harder and there's guys that aren't good with a compound. They're losing deer, and that sucks. But when you can give a guy something who's not educated and doesn't have to practice, and he can just go out, no woodsmanship or anything, shoot 100 yards at a deer through woods,
and that would be my rebuttal to that, is that the reason there's more wounds with crossbows is because they're trying further shots, whereas a compound guy is trying to let them get 20 yards or less.
Yeah, you have to know your limits. Crossbow is one thing. I shoot a compound. I know what my comfortable range was, but when I shot a longbow, my range was way shorter than that. You have to know what the limits are. With a longbow, I need to be 20 yards, maybe 25.
And I guarantee there's going to be people commenting on this are saying the same thing, that traditional guys were having the same argument when compounds came out because, it was a technological advance and it mad bow hunting easier. It's not perfect, but it's made it easier. And I would agree with that, that there's trad guys were, right in that sense. But I feel like going from compound to crossbow has not only made it easier, it made it almost perfect. Like those, you're making it so that the hunter is perfect.
Yeah. I did not realize you could shoot them that far.
In my opinion, it's not having to draw back is the biggest thing. As a bow hunter,
You don't have to stand up.
If
you don't have to draw. You can
on a bucket. And I mean,
completely. That's exactly why the big deer got killed in Centerville.
Right.
That he was coming out of that bottom. That all those deer were coming out of that bottom, and in late season, it's wide open. There's no way you're going to draw on them.
Right. Yeah. They're coming up looking right at you.
My friend knew that and had the crossbow.
Right.
He was all set up with it on the rail. And when they come up, I think you said there was $7 that came first, and he was the last one, and got him. So the drawing and not getting caught part of it is a whole nother, advantage.
It's a big can of worms.
But
I don't know.
I mean, it's clearly getting out of hand because I've been banned from a certain Facebook page because every post was a giant deer going in, getting scored, a high scoring deer, and every one of them killed with crossbow, like one after another. And I'm just tired of seeing it.
Right.
It's like, not that it's, and I've had people comment back to my comments like, I'm just doing what the state allows. My beef isn't with that person per se. My beef is with the state for allowing it.
Right.
I'm not coming at you for doing what you're legally allowed to do. Like I get it. I get it. But
and then a lot of this even starts tying back into the limit. Like if you can, like now I'm starting to think about it. Like there's so many levels to this because, like, if I had a crossbow in my hand this year, I'd had all 3 buck tags would have been filled. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and you know what I mean? Like maybe with a crossbow you're only allowed 1. Like I don't know. I don't know.
The thing where I could see the only change that I would see happening is a specific crossbow season.
I'd be
That's
fine with
not
that.
a bad idea.
Because
would you be allowed to compound hunt during it?
I mean,
Because you can always use a lesser weapon.
Yeah, it's
that's fair. Because my thing for that is recently the opening day rifle harvest reports came out and the numbers were down again, and everybody seems to think like we're losing hunters because there's no land. That's not the case.
Yeah.
All those people that used to gun hunt are now just crossbow hunting. Earlier in the year. They don't have to wait till gun season anymore. They're getting it done earlier in the year. So there's just less people gun hunting because they can crossbow hunt September to basically the end of November now.
Right.
It's like, so I would be in favor of a specific crossbow season. Now, I don't know where I don't know where that would lay in the season. Yeah. It's like,
well, what if they change it to $1
10th and 11th?
If they change it to $1, it doesn't matter what weapon you use.
Yeah. I guess
I would be in favor for that as well.
That definitely solves it.
Yeah.
But then if everybody killed a buck, it'd still be less than
statistically. It has to be 3.
Or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I would be fine with that. It's just
solving the world's problems.
As long as you get rid of corn. It is just like
hot takes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, and I'm not against the guys or the people that are using it per se. I mean, some of them,
you're following the law.
They should be using a compound. It's just like it. I mean, like there was I commented on one thing one time on a Cody Idol post, and it was basically like, why are we seeing less, mature deer in the wild? And my thing was like, I put on there, it's like, it's a multitude of things, but crossbow baiting, cell cams. And somebody commented back and like, what does crossbows have to do with it? It's like, they were like, poaching to me is the number one issue. Now poaching is an issue, but crossbow is a bigger issue because it's just opportunity.
Yeah.
There's more people in the woods now killing way more deer,
Yeah.
So,
and how much poaching is done with crossbows?
A lot.
There's way more poaching done with a crossbow than, in my opinion, any other weapon.
I would also be in favor of like open sight crossbows. Where you weren't allowed to put a high powered scope on it. Maryland bow hunters this year specifically. I've seen many posts where I'm like, zooming in on the crossbow, and they all have like high-powered scopes, digital scopes.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, how do I? And I comment on one guy's like, "Is that a night vision scope?" And he's like, "No, it's a digital scope." I'm like, "Well, what's the difference?" You know, because you could shoot that in
Take
one
a damn
light.
thermal.
You know, like you know. And anybody that gun hunts knows that you can shoot till you can shoot till dark basically because scopes collect light.
Good scopes.
Yeah.
Pull it in, man.
Yeah, so it's like whereas an archery guy's done 10 minutes before dark.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's just
talking me in the cross.
crossbow bait.
Okay.
We got you.
I'm kidding.
So,
Oh man.
I don't know.
I think a lot of people think that the level of deer we're getting every year is going up, and I don't see that at all. I think you look at all the world records over time, or especially in Maryland, like what state records are we seeing in recent years? The two biggest deer killed on the entire East Coast were in Maryland, the Crutchfield and the Kevin Miller buck, both killed years ago. Like we're not seeing big deer killed in recent times. I mean, we're seeing a 200. We might see 2 to 3 200s a year killed, but we're not seeing those 230s, 240s at all.
Right. I've never seen one. I've never seen one.
I've seen a picture of one. I've seen two in person, but not alive. I mean, I agree. I mean, I've never even shot a 150 class deer, so I shouldn't even be commenting on this. But that is the new norm for Maryland, I would say, right? Like,
what do you mean?
130 to 150 is now that's considered a large whitetail in the state of Maryland now, and it is. It is. It's a big deer, but it's not the 160s, 170s, 180s that we're probably alive more often.
It all kind of comes back to the cell cams and bait thing. Is like if you know there's a 180 in there, you're probably going to want to kill it. If you don't know that 180's in there and that deer can grow to 220, 230,
keep passing those genes down.
Yeah. The one thing I saw about baiting is I was listening, and I don't think we have an outfitter problem here. Maybe Dorchester County, Sika outfitters, but they're leasing tons of farms, thousands of acres, and all they're doing is just monitoring it. They're not actually hunting it until they see that stag or that buck show up. And it's like, okay, we haven't been in there. He showed up finally. Let's send a client in there.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. They have to do that from a business standpoint. But if you eliminate bait and or cell cams, now they're not going to lease up that land if they can't monitor it.
Yeah. True.
So it opens it up for people like us.
Yeah. The cameras they're fun. I mean, I love to get the pictures on my phone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. But I go back to before they were around. You're talking about killing the giant. Well, you probably wouldn't pass the 120-inch deer if you didn't know there was something else there.
Right.
Yeah. And when I was a kid, well, not even, and beyond, when there weren't many deer around, when you sat in the woods, you didn't know what was coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the first thing you saw that you thought looked good, you killed it.
Yeah.
Right. But you didn't know that his dad was 50 yards behind him because he didn't have cell cams.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it was almost more fun than just because there's that element. I don't know how many deer are here. I mean, other than reading sign, I don't know how big they are.
Yeah.
It was a different thing. Yeah, I'm really not that much more successful now than it was.
They stress me out. Truthfully, it gets to a point where preseason is fun, watching all these deer showing up, cool, we got this one this year, this one, this one, and this one. But then it's once the season hits, all of a sudden it becomes where the hell are they? Why are they not here?
Once they start shifting patterns,
it's it stresses you out, trying to figure these deer out instead of just going out and sitting and just seeing what shows up.
They'll dissuade you from hunting,
right?
More times than not,
right?
Yeah. And more times than not, just because your cell cam is where it is, there's probably some really nice deer not that far away from it,
Yeah, those cameras, they tell part of the story. They don't tell the whole story.
Right.
They just don't.
Even when it was just SD cameras, they were always fun because you let them soak for 2 weeks and you're hunting around them and stuff. And then you pull them. You're like, God, I should have been here last week. He was right here.
Yeah. That sounds easy, but I used to have to go and take the film out, and then go to the 1 hour developing place.
Awesome.
Sitting outside the parking lot, the ready.
Hey,
all raccoons.
Or 1,000 starlings. For every picture on the roll, 36 pictures.
That's funny.
They were about this big.
Yeah, D-cell batteries.
Yeah, I remember those. You had one with a disposable camera in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to take the film to the 1 hour the processing. I don't even know where that is anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, I mean, we won't drag it out any longer. I just like it. It feels like the state is just spiraling out of control. Like it's gonna. I mean, if things keep up the way it is, it's just gonna be. Ultimately, it's just gonna be a rich man's sport. Like unless you own land, which most people can't afford, it's like we're gonna lose hunters because only the rich are going to be able to afford leases, and then those people that can't afford them are going to hunt state land, and then there's not going to be a lot of people that want to do that.
Yeah,
maybe the first couple of years they'll try it.
Yeah,
but once they're unsuccessful, they're going to quit.
And we're not even factoring the drone thing that I feel like should be.
I had that on my list, but that's a whole nother hour if we talk about that.
Get them out of the sky.
Yeah, seriously, and just as
even for recovery,
fishing, and everything.
Yeah, people don't need to be every kid in the country don't need to have the access to be able to fly something through the air and take high def video, and that shit is wild,
man. Yeah, I just told you I had a drone.
It's kind of fun.
I mean, I get it, but like I said, you should
follow the
you fall into the category of like, yeah, he'll be all right.
I'm not flying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we don't need that.
Yeah, I hear you.
Like, I don't like to be fishing on a Sunday morning and there's a drone over my head. That's only happened a couple times, but like, it's just weird. It's creepy.
Yeah,
it's creepy. Like, it's like somebody's watching you. You know?
Yeah.
And in some cases, they're using thermal images and they're finding where the biggest herds of deer are. But they're looking for recoveries.
Well, that's the problem. Is that like
you're looking for recoveries, but you're seeing a whole lot of life.
And you can pay someone to come out and survey your land.
Yeah,
Tony the Pratt, those type of guys are doing this.
I can't say nothing there because
I'd be okay with the land surveying as long as the rule was it had to be out of season.
Yeah, what was the guy that was on YouTube just recently that did the whole season of monitoring all those bucks? He's been on all the podcasts. I can't remember, but he was not allowed to. Or he either was not allowed or didn't tell them that until after the season what the results were.
Okay.
Yeah. What he saw and how the bucks traveled. And there was actually a lot of good information that came out of that.
What's the like the barrier to entry and so what's the roughly a purchase price to get a drone that has thermal on it?
$10,000.
All right, there's a serious barrier to entry
not
there.
Bad.
It's not
price. I'm gonna be honest with you.
All right.
I mean, that ain't nothing but a credit card swipe for a little while.
It's that like if you're hunting a 40-acre block and you air drone survey it, however, and it could be a way more involved process than it probably is than I'm even thinking of. But like if you see that if you broke that up into quarter and like 75% of the herds in the top left corner,
right?
Where are we going hunting?
Right. Well, yeah. So the thing is like, and I don't remember exactly Maryland's rules on the recovery thing.
Yeah.
But like where a lot of these states are having the challenges, they're calling these guys in for recovery, and while they're flying looking for the buck, they're like,
"Oh man,
hey, what's that one over there?" And then within 24 hours, the hunter's allowed to go.
Oh yeah,
and he knows the general area where that buck's been. Which it should not be.
Some states you're allowed to fly a drone to find the deer, but you're not allowed to recover it.
Okay.
Which
how does that?
Right. What's the point?
Right. He's allowed to tell you
who is paying for
the guy's like allowed to tell you, yeah, he's in there and he's dead, or he's not dead, but I can't tell you where he's at, and you can't go get it.
Right, you can't tell him the location.
It's just because it's that whole slippery slope of where's the line between I'm recovering or I'm scouting.
Yeah,
right. And I'm sure there's
We could
poachers
get
using it
machine
too.
guns attached
Yeah.
somehow
Yeah,
to the
right.
top.
Yeah.
And
Won't be
Really?
long.
like our clothes won't be our biggest problem.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, they're using them to plant fields. They're using them to bait. They're using them.
Yeah, drones are crazy.
They're using them for a lot of
Crazy
things,
work,
but I would be okay with them using like for the land survey thing again, as long as it was outside of the season. But you shouldn't.
Okay.
I'm not in huge favor of the recovery thing. And if you are allowed to use it for recovery, there's got to be some better written rules about what's allowed and what's not
I
allowed.
think there will be.
I just don't know
It's
how
just
you can
new.
enforce that.
I mean, there's going to be some stand-up guys that are in charge of the drone recovery that are going to follow the rules, right? But there's
Yeah.
always going to be some people where you're like, hey, man, I'll slip you an extra 200 if you just you just fly that thing around, tell me where they're all at. you know?
I mean, I have a friend that did this year, and he found where all his target deer were.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
What's the fun in that, though?
what point are you just playing a video game?
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. I don't know.
Yeah.
It goes into a deeper rabbit hole than that, but to me, that's just not fun.
Yeah. Get them out of here.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Go back to old. I mean,
I'll
it's
come out
not
and look for
cheap
your
to
deer.
call them in because I even considered like calling one when I shot that buck.
Yeah.
I mean, a dog,
like
a dog is like
Waylon could clap one with his bow now.
He probably could. He probably could. He's getting close.
If he can catch a goose, he can catch a drone.
We'll try. I'll just fly mine around out there and see what happens. But yeah, I mean, they're like $400, $500 to have somebody come and try to recover one for you. A dog's like $350 plus a tip if they find it.
Yeah.
It's like,
True.
I'll just look tomorrow. Shed season.
Dog tracker school. That feels a lot more
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah.
Than,
I've had a guy on here before that did
Drone.
it, and it is cool. But,
yeah.
that's just
Drones just
that
take it
much
to a
more.
different level.
Yeah.
Yeah, the advantage of the drone, one thing is you don't have to worry about property lines.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You got a dog, you got to stop at the edge of your property unless you have permission. He doesn't have to stop with that drone. He
Right.
can go over and he can say, "Oh, it's over there on that farm."
Right.
Yeah.
You need to go talk to him.
Right.
And I know it's like the guys from the Hunter podcast, like the one guy, he just had like a land survey done, but because of that rule, like they flew like a certain square mile around his property. So he was looking at all the neighboring properties to see what their herds looked like and stuff like that. And it's like he's just trying to get a drone idea, like why are the deer not on me? Where are they? Essentially, but it's like that's a slippery slope too. Because if I was his neighbor, I wouldn't want you flying over my property.
No,
you know, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got people that are relying on them. You know, if you call, especially if you pay $400 or $500 for a drone, gut shoot a deer, you call a drone, the guy comes out and the guy says the deer isn't there, you're not going to go look for it.
Right.
I have a friend that did this a few years ago in public. He shot a deer, horrible shot, frontal facing. Didn't go look for it, called a drone. Drone told him it's not there, but there's a big deer on the other side of the swamp. I knew from what he said that deer was probably dead, and I went in and found it, and it was only 50 yards from where he had shot it. And the drone told him that it wasn't there. And I told him, I'm like, horrible hunter for not going and looking. I was like, you can't rely on something like that.
Right.
But if you pay that kind of money, I mean,
You're expecting the results to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're 2 hours deep, so let's wrap this up. Anybody got anything else?
2 hours?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
How come I don't have one of these hats? That's kind of what I was wondering.
That's Waylon's hat. See, not that skin.
Oh, okay.
I got that. Actually, they gave that to me for free when I bought the koozies.
Oh, gotcha.
So just a little sample.
Well,
I
if
guess
it's Wayland's, you can have it, I guess.
Yeah. He had it all set up in there because he thought he was going to podcast with us. But all right. Well, let's wrap it up. Nothing else? Nobody? Nothing? Covered it all?
yeah.
I think we did.
I hope nobody hates me.
That's controversial one.
Gave out so much wrong information tonight.
Nobody made it past Rich's first 10-minute spiel about fishing.
Come on.
Oh, I know. We should have gone hot first. You know what I mean? You can't let me
gotta
go
break this into two or something.
Maybe. But all right, well, let's wrap it up. This is a great podcast again. You can find us on all the socials: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and soon Apple Podcasts. Catch you on the next one. Later.